The secret of happiness is to desire what you already have. This is what all existing philosophical movements are saying. Although philosophical approaches about life differ from one movement to another, they all agree on a certain aspect: happiness really comes from the things we already have, and not from the things we want. Maybe this idea sounds strange, because everyone today promotes this idea: you have to have as much as possible, as qualitative as possible, as massive as possible, everything to be taken to the extreme. Why would you want to have what you already have, when you can have more? Even I promote reading and philosophy, for the accumulation of knowledge. Respectively, the investments on the stock exchange, for the accumulation of a financial capital, as big and solid as possible. Isn't all this in contradiction with the essence of philosophy? The social system of ancient Rome was built on the basis of respect for the social hierarchy, so there was a relationship of mutual help between the members of the lower class and the common people, or those with high rank. Thus rich people, politicians, famous merchants or bankers, subsidized and had under their wing different talented writers, thinkers and artists. People from the first category had to shelter those in the second category, and the latter had the duty to offer the fruits of their creative work to those who protected them. In addition, from time to time, they had to fulfill various requests. As a result, there were such caring relationships between those at the top and those from the bottom. And the Romanian society remained at peace. One of the additional tasks that the protégé had to do for his superior was to fulfill the role of anteambulo, a Latin term, which means the one who clears the way. This task consists in going before his patron, where he was traveling through Rome, communicating messages, ensuring his overnight stay, and in general small things, to ensure his superior all the comfort. A famous epigram author at the time, named Martial, acted as anteambulo for Mela, a businessman and brother of the well-known political advisor and philosopher, Stoic Seneca. Due to the difficult living conditions of that time, Martial had to be anteambulo for another important personality of those times, Petilius, another businessman. Thus Martial went from one employer to another, and performed those necessary tasks, remaining that in his free time, to exercise his role as a writer. Martial had an attitude of goodwill, respect and appreciation for his patrons, but in reality he hated them from his heart. He secretly aspired to be a nobleman like his masters. He wanted a big house, and a reputation as a writer. But instead, in his vision he lived as a slave, and not as a nobleman recognized for his worth. As a result, his writings were dark and sour, full of revolt and bitterness towards the upper class, from which he necessarily had to reach and be a part of. Maybe when you hear these words, Martial's attitude towards his superiors may seem exaggerated, and even ugly. In the end, he didn't work so hard, and he always had time to write, and even rest. How can a man be so greedy and ungrateful? Well, to be honest, we both know that this attitude is not foreign for us. Even familiar. In each of us dwells a little genius, hungry for power, which denigrates anything and anyone considered above him. The strange thing is that both you and I had at least one moment in our lives of jealousy and apathy towards people who did us good. It is indeed a terrible feeling for your own mind, and a real cancer for the soul. And at this point, you probably think that we are doomed to unhappiness for the rest of our lives. Because if we are to be honest, any of us has moments of weakness, and the lusts of egoism constantly seduce us. Fortunately, however, there is a remedy for envy and jealousy that will not only combat these unhealthy feelings, but will develop a complete sense of fullness, which will also fulfill the essence of philosophy. The secret of happiness is to want what you already have, mentioned earlier. The cure for this cancer of the soul, called envy, is nothing but gratitude. Gratitude means appreciating every little bit of life, considering it a gift from the universe. Gratitude does not come through the complete elimination of desires, but rather through the true appreciation of the things we have. In this way, a cycle is created between you, possessions and the universe, which is in a constant harmony, leading to happiness as a result. But when you become envious or jealous of the other, this cycle breaks, and you become unhappy. You don't want to know what hatred I had for most people that I considered below my level, and that had much better results than me. And I thought that my work is the best, somehow. Why people don't really appreciate what I offer them. I was full of hatred and envy, and eventually I realized that I can't change this anyway. It's best to focus on what I really am right now, and in doing so, I've learned to truly love who I am, and the universe has given me harmony. Envy is an unhealthy emotion, and all of us feel it in ourselves. And an interesting thing to see is that the hatred Martial carried in his soul did not touch Mela or Petilius. and reflected only on Him. It's the same in our case. Every time we nurture negative emotions and dark thoughts towards people, for their results or possessions, the emptiness in our heart deepens. And even more, when the person in question does us good, and helps us with an open heart. The attitude of malice and discredit will kill our souls even more. And after all, where does so much malice and envy of the success of others come from? The greedy need for power and recognition has its origins in our animal impulses. The truth is that in the early stages of human evolution, you are more animal than human. When you are a child or teenager, you are concerned with the basic issues, and you are driven by primary instincts, like feeding and reproduction, which can very easily be converted into greed and hatred, when someone perceives that he has more than you, or that you have too little. And remember, only those who are in the early stages of their evolution will have these harmful feelings. Instead, people who have worked on their personality, and excelled in all areas of their lives, will not have the same feelings. And so, we come to the second point. Gratitude is a spiritual practice that strengthens and cultivates the feelings of humanity in us. You will not see a philosopher, in the true sense of the word, be jealous of another philosopher for the number of students he has. Or a businessman, family man, lover and passionate about sports and travel, to be jealous of another successful man. Or even a teacher, to be jealous of another teacher, because he has more students than him. People of character really appreciate other people of character, and they want for themselves all the good in the world. And by no means, to go wrong with them. And the third point. Emotional detachment from the things we have. This is the secret. You can still have as many wishes as you want, provided you are aware that there is a possibility that they will never be fulfilled, and you will be fine with it. It is perfectly normal and advisable to have money, a beautiful car, the house of your dreams, and many more. But you have to find the strength not to attach your soul and emotions to them. You will accomplish this only when you will gratefully receive all the good and bad things that life has to offer. And you will give them back, with an open heart, when they are asked of you. And I don't know if you believe me, but I was exactly like Marshall. I hated everyone, and this thing darkened my soul. And when you are at the beginning of your life, when you have no knowledge about this sphere of personal development, of philosophy, we will all be like that. But this does not mean that you have to stay in the same place. This does not mean that you have to stay like Marshall. You need to go to the next level, by working on yourself. And you have to do it. Take all those frustrations and put them in your work, and this way you will grow as a person, and you will go to the next level. For example, if something happened to the YouTube platform tomorrow, let's say it would have restricted my access to the channel, or deleted it. This way, losing practically everything I created during this time, believe me, I wouldn't have any problem. I am really grateful that I had the time, health and desire to create these videos, but also the fact that I had you as a listener. And that in the end I lived my dream, and this is to teach you about finance and philosophy. And for all this, my gratitude to you, and to the universe is infinite. So with this video, I want to show my gratitude for the fact that you, the one I never met, and I will probably never meet, you are here, and I want to thank you. And from this moment, every time you feel envy for something or someone, know that envy is the cancer of the soul, and to get rid of it, you only need gratitude, as simple as that. And surely, in your soul, you will find something, even in this moment, something for which you are grateful with all your heart. And until next time, I wish you all the best.